What's up guys, and welcome back to Software and Hardware Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 or 2 or whatever the fuck you want to call this game right now. They have released a couple of new updates, which is pretty cool. They have released plunder into the pool of Call of Duty, and it's actually pretty cool to jam it. Now, a lot of people are experiencing really bad gameplay experience with plunder. In general, just every single game mode. Stutters, FPS loss, shit show gameplay experience. So today I'm going to show you what you can do to have the best gameplay experience possible and what you can do to make the game run a little bit better at least, so you don't lose FPS and you have a better gameplay experience. Now I'll leave a link in the description down below for this website over here, and then let's jump straight into the first couple of steps, and then I'm going to jump straight into the game and show you the settings you should be using to have a smooth gameplay experience. Alright, let's jump straight into that. Alright, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is obviously go ahead and update your graphics card drivers to the latest version. Now for Nvidia users out there, you're going to use 531.68, which is the latest driver version for Nvidia drivers. Now for people out there that's using AMD, just go ahead and download the latest drivers. It's very important for your machine to have the latest drivers installed. Now from here, what you're going to need to do is just click on the Windows button over here, go to Settings, and then go to Update and Security. Please make sure that your Windows is up to date as well. It's critical to have your machine up to date. Please go ahead and do this. I know a lot of people are quite lazy and they don't really do this much. Neither do I, as you can see. Fuck, I need to do an update here myself, but I'm not going to go ahead and download and install this because you're basically going to watch me download and install this. Now, you're going to click on the home button over here, and you're going to go to Gaming. Over here, you're going to go to Game Mode, and then from here, you're going to see where it says Game Mode over here. You're going to turn this on. It helps for Season 3 right now, and it works perfectly fine if you go ahead and turn this on. I highly recommend you go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter if you have an AMD graphics card or a Nvidia graphics card, go ahead and turn this on. From here, you're going to go to Graphics Settings, and then from here, you're going to turn off Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling. Yet again, it doesn't matter if you're using AMD or an Nvidia graphics card. Go ahead and turn it off. It does help with stuttering in the game, and then also FPS loss. From here, you're going to go to Home, and then from here, you're going to go to Privacy, scroll all the way down to where you see it says Background Apps. Now, yet again, if you're on Windows 10, you're just going to go from here, where it's on, to off. You do not need all of these things running in the background. Trust me, you don't. All it's going to do is going to use resources like your RAM and your CPU and also your VRAM usage, which it doesn't need to do in the background while you are playing Call of Duty. So I highly recommend go ahead and turn this off. Now, if you're a Windows 11 user, you're going to have to individually disable these things. Or you could just go Google how to do that. I'm not going to spoon feed you any more than what I'm already doing. Okay, now one thing I just want to point out there is this: if you're running Windows 11 and you're doing all my settings right now and you're still having a bad gameplay experience and you have a really good machine, okay, you have a really good machine, then I would tell you straight to your face that you are running Windows 11. That is your problem. Okay, I know Windows 11 is the new thing and everyone's going to it right now, but there's a lot of problems with fucking Windows 11. Okay, yeah, that's just straightforward me being blatant and saying how it is. I don't fuck around. I don't fucking sugarcoat things. Windows 11 is fucked. Okay, so if you're running Windows 11, that's your thing. Okay, I'm not telling you that you're gonna have to roll back your drivers or roll back to Windows 10 or whatever the case might be. If you're running Windows 11, that's your thing. Keep having Windows 11. All right, from here you're gonna click on the home button, and then from here I highly recommend you go ahead and do this. Go to Apps, and then come inside here. Come inside where your shit's installed on your machine, okay? And then scroll down and see all the nonsense and bullshit that you have on your machine and go ahead and uninstall it, okay? If you don't have like really big SSDs or M.2s and stuff like that, I highly recommend removing shit that you don't need on your machine, like games, programs, all those things. Uninstall them. You do not need them, okay, if you don't use them. All right, so Microsoft, please don't uninstall these things. You might brick your machine. Don't uninstall them. Just be cautious with what you uninstall over here. Games, that's very easy to do, and programs that you know you installed, go ahead and uninstall them if you're not using them. Go to Startup, and then I highly recommend you go ahead and turn everything off except the things that you need, okay? So for instance, I have Bitdefender, that's basically securing my machine, and then I also have this HD audio, and then I have Vanguard, right, and then I have Windows Security, okay? That's pretty much what I have on. I do not recommend having every single thing on over here, because what it's going to do is it's going to slow down your boot time of your machine. Not just that, it's going to start running in the background once you boot your machine every time you restart or reboot your computer. Alright, from here you're going to click on the home button, and let's jump straight into the next steps. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so something that plays a very big role inside Call of Duty is this over here. It is the config file. You're going to go to the file explorer over here, and then go to documents, and you're going to go to Call of Duty, go to players, and you're going to go to this file over here that says options3.cod22. and just right click on it and say open, and then just open this up on your whole entire screen. Now you're going to need a program like editing software or a notepad, and then scroll all the way down. From here you're going to see this over here where it says render a work account. Okay, now I have a 9700K CPU, so it has 8 cores and 8 threads. I highly recommend you go ahead and put your total cores inside here. So please, if you have 6 cores, put 6 there. If you have 8 cores, put 8 there. If you have 10 cores, you have 12 cores. You get my drift. Please go ahead and put the total cores inside there. Your total cores, not your performance cores, not your threads, your total cores. It doesn't matter if you're an AMD user or an Intel user, go ahead and put your total cores inside here, not half. For some people, half works. If half works for you, like for instance, if mine was 4, mine would be 4 if it's half. I do recommend trying it out. I do recommend it, just seeing if you do more FPS by halving it. But if you have your total cores inside here and you're doing really good FPS with your game, I highly recommend just leaving it at its total cores. Now, if you haven't done this already, yours might be defaulted to like 5, 3, 2, or some bullshit. So I highly recommend checking out your CPU, seeing how much total cores you have, and then go ahead and put it inside there. You're just going to press backspace and then type it yourself. That's all you're going to need to do. You're going to come up here, go to File, say Save, and then you're going to close out of this and close out of this. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here. If you are an Nvidia user like me, right click on your desktop and open up Nvidia Control Panel, and then open Nvidia Control Panel. Now once you open this up, I highly recommend you go ahead and do these things over here, which is adjust image settings with preview, and then use the advanced 3D image settings. Use this one over here, not this, not that. And then click on take me there. It's basically just going to take you to this over here. Now all of these settings, all my subscribers will most likely know that these settings over here, they already applied to their machine. So I'm not going to go in depth with this over here, but you can just pause my video and copy these settings over here. If you are new to this video right now and you've never subscribed to my YouTube channel, whatever the case might be, go ahead and copy all of these settings over here. Now I have explained every single setting in this little global settings over here. I highly recommend you go ahead and just copy all of my settings inside here. I'm not going to explain everything every single video. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my fucking time. I'm doing it in every single video anyways, so just go to one of my older videos and you'll realize what these things do. All you need to do is pause my video, copy all of my settings, and you should be good to go with stuttering not happening in your game. FPS loss will not happen in your game anymore. It plays a very big role on the game settings, all of these settings over here. So go ahead and copy and apply these settings. Once you're done with it, apply it. Your screen might flash a couple of times. Don't worry, it's just applying the settings to your Nvidia control panel. From here, you're going to go to Config Surround and Physics. Make sure you have your GPU selected. Not auto-select, not CPU, your GPU, your dedicated graphics card. Select it and then go apply. From here, you're going to go to Adjust Desktop Color Settings and you're going to come inside here. Now, this is your own personal preference. It's really your own personal preference, but I do recommend putting your contrast on 65 and your overall brightness for Nvidia control panel settings at 50. In game, you can change the brightness. If you want to, you can go ahead and do that. All right. From here, you're going to go to digital vibrance. Make sure you click on image 3, right, and then come over here and then turn this thing down. You'll see your screen will go black and white. Go all the way up to where you prefer this to be, right, and then say apply. Mine is 95. It's always been 95, and it's my sweet spot for all my games. All my games look much, much better because the digital vibrance in the game looks pretty insane. So I highly recommend you go ahead and do this. Just apply it. Your screen might flash a couple of times. Don't worry. It's just applying the settings. All right, let's jump straight into the game settings. And depending on the machine that you're running, it's going to depend on the settings you're going to be using. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in the game right now. So the first thing you're going to need to do is go to this little icon over here and then go to graphics. Go to quality tab over here and then have this at custom. Now at this very moment, I'm playing my game at Nvidia DLSS with quality. Okay, now my game looks really, really good, but for some reason the loot crates are shimmery as fuck. Like, they're literally like shimmery. But the nice thing about it is you can see them from a distance. So when you're playing plunder, you might want to see them because it's easier to spot them. You can also then get a lot of money for it. And obviously you get way more money if you play through the strongholds and stuff like that. I have been doing it with a couple of friends and stuff, and it's actually pretty fun. But yeah, if you do want an advantage to finding the loot crates and also have really good quality of the game, the only thing that's a downside to this, to Nvidia DLSS, is the loot crates. The loot crates look like they have this like little shimmering around it. Not just the loot crates, like the bags and stuff like that. They have shimmering around it, so objects that you can pick up, like grenades and, you know, like claymores, whatever the fuck. Okay, now for people out there that wants to have really good quality in the game and they don't want shimmering in their game and they want the game to look like a AAA title game, I highly recommend you go with Intel, and then you do this over here. You go to ultra quality. The game runs really, really well, especially if you know you have a beast of a machine, okay? Then something I want to go over is this over here. If you have this selected and you have ultra quality selected, scroll down, put this at 90%, normal, high. It doesn't matter if you play with any upscaling here, you always keep this one at high. Just remember that. This at high and this at high, okay? Those are for people out there that wants really good quality in their game and they're not struggling with FPS. Now, if you are struggling with FPS, I do recommend you go with AMD FSR 1.0. It's very recommended. If you are struggling with FPS, then go with either quality. Don't really go with ultra quality. If your machine can handle ultra quality, go with ultra quality, but I go with quality over here, and the game runs much smoother and you get more FPS out of the game, and the game looks really well if you have this at full mic SMAA T2 times, and then this in ultra quality, 90% on the VRAM scale, normal, high, high, and high. Now, for people out there that's running lower generation graphics cards and lower generation CPUs, go with AMD FSR 1.0, right? Or go with Fidelity FX Cache. Okay, so let's go over the first one, which is AMD FSR 1.0. You're going to have this at quality. Now, if you are struggling with FPS, I recommend going with SMAA T2 times, not full mic, just SMAA T2 times, right? Go here with high instead of ultra quality, then bump this down to about 60. You can even type it in, so you can do like, I don't know, 75, press enter, whatever you prefer inside there. Just don't go with 90 if you have a lower generation graphics card, okay? Always keep this at normal. I do recommend going then lower. Just go lower if you have a lower budget gaming graphics card, or just a budget graphics card. Go with low over here, always at high. Doesn't matter if you have a budget gaming graphics card or just a budget graphics card. Go with high always here. Go over here with low and go over here with low. Your game might not look the best, but you will do more FPS. If you're struggling with this game, if you're really struggling to play this game and your FPS is dog shit, then I highly recommend these settings over here that you see right now on the screen, okay? Leave this like this, okay? Then scroll up. And if you don't want to use AMD FSR, go with Fidelity FX Cache and have these exactly as is, okay? Maybe bump this a bit down. You can even go 70, 60, you can even go all the way to 50. Now, what I do is I utilize all my VRAM with my graphics card. Now, I have a 9700K, an RTX 2060 OC, and 16 gigs of RAM. Yes, I know, it's not the best of machines, but it's capable of running this game perfectly fine with any single upscaling. Alright, so for instance, I can use this if I want to, and then go all the way up to 90%, go over here, put this at normal, high always, this one on high, and this one on high. And my game looks fucking beautiful if I have my settings like this, and trust me, it does work with my machine. So if you have anything higher than mine, like a higher end machine than mine, then you can go ahead and actually use these settings. I'm using my specific machine, RTX 2060, 9700K, and 16 gigs of RAM. But the thing is, I overclocked my CPU, I overclocked my GPU. Even though it's an OC version, it's already been overclocked out of the box, I still went to go ahead and overclock it. And I also went to go ahead and change my RAM timings to make my RAM speeds faster. Okay, that's also why I experience a lot of FPS and my game doesn't stutter and stuff like that. Now, important things that we need to go over here is we're going to scroll down and we're going to go over here. So short on this, particle quality low, particle quality level very low. You don't need this in this fucking game, trust me, you don't. Bullet impacts, you can put this on, it has no impact on FPS or VRAM or RAM or CPU usage. It doesn't. Like, it says low on CPU and GPU. So switch this on, leave it on. You do not need to turn it off. Alright? Damage layers is your own personal preference. I leave mine off. Shader quality, you can go if you want to. If you seriously want to, you can go to medium. It does make the character and stuff look a slight bit better. It's not even noticeable, so I leave mine at low. Literally, I don't notice the difference between this being low to medium to high. I leave mine at low. But it's your own personal preference. Some machines might see a difference if they put this at high or at medium. So Test the shader quality out yourself. I have mine at low. My game looks perfectly fine. Tessellation, always off, off. Leave it off for the love of fuck. Leave it off. Cool. On-demand texture streaming. It's a whole entire video that I have to make because you need really good internet speeds. You need space on your drive. It's going to download textures on the internet straight to your drive and leave it there. So every time you jump out of the plane or load into a match, it's going to go and fetch the textures from your drive. Okay, now you can try this out. I don't recommend it. As you can see, mine's off as well. I've got a 1 gig line and I've got SSDs and M.2s, and I don't use this at all. I don't have to. So I'm pretty sure you don't have to either. Don't go with this. Just leave it fucking off. All right. Streaming quality low, volumetric quality low, physics quality off. You do not, for the love of fuck, need to use this. And then this is a very, very important step over here, is the water quality. You get default, you get water caustics, you get water wetness, and then water caustics and wave wetness. Now, for a lot of people out there, they left me comments saying that this is already on one of these things. It's automatically set to that. So you're going to go to default, okay? Select default. Put it on default, because all this is going to do is it's going to eat your FPS that you don't want it to do. So leave this at default. Over here, shadow map resolution very low, screen space shadows off, spot shadow quality low, spot cache plays a big role on stuttering. So you're either going to go with high or ultra, not medium, not low, high or ultra. Okay. From here, you're going to go to particle lighting, put this at low. From here, ambient occlusion, off, off, always off. For the love of fuck, don't put this on. This is only if you're playing Modern Warfare 2 and you're playing the single player game, okay? Then you want to see all the beautiful textures and shit like that. This is a multiplayer game where you want to shoot people in the face. So don't use this fucking option. Don't use it. You want competitive settings, okay? You want the best FPS, the best possible movement. You want the best possible, gameplay experience. So turn this, for the love of fuck, off, okay? Screen space reflections off, static reflection quality low, weather grid volumes off. You do not need to see the fucking weather in this game. Honestly, you fucking don't. You are not here for the scenery. You are here to fuck people up, not for the scenery. That's not why you're here, alright? You are watching my video right now because you're losing FPS or your game's stuttering and stuff like that. So just trust me. Turn this the fuck off, right? Nvidia Reflex low latency on plus boost. Highly recommend it. If you're running AMD, if you're running Ryzen, if you're running AMD graphics cards, if you're running Nvidia graphics cards, if you're running Intel, whatever the fuck you are running right now, go with on plus boost. Don't go with on. Go with on plus boost. Depth of field off, it's a multiplayer game. World motion blur off, it's a multiplayer game. Weapon motion blur off, it's a multiplayer game. I'm not going to repeat myself on these. I always repeat myself on these with every single fucking video I release, but people still don't listen. That's your problem. I'm guessing it's your own personal preference on these things, but Jesus Lord, just turn them off. You don't need them in a multiplayer fucking game. Alright, film grain all the way to 0.00. Yet again, a lot of people left me comments saying that, yo dude, I put mine up. Then put yours up. Show your own personal preference. I'm not telling you exactly what you need to do here. This is a personal preference option here. So, this is your own personal preference. Go ahead and do what the fuck you want over here. Right? After you've changed all of these settings, you're going to apply it. I'm not going to apply it because I am not going to change my settings now. I have my sweet spot for my machine. So I'm going to go to view. I'm going to go discard. You're going to say apply. Cool. We're going to go to the view over here. Now, in the view tab over here, field of view. For a lot of people out there that's watching this video right now, and you may be new to my video, or you're a person that's never changed settings, I highly recommend playing your FOV at 120. This is a own personal preference thing, but you can actually see more on the left and right hand side of your screen and in your game if you have this at 120 field of view. It actually shows you on the right hand side how far you can see with 120 and how far you can see with 60. You can literally only see till here. So if there's a player here, you won't see him and you'll die. So that's pretty much just common knowledge, basically, alright? Affected, I highly recommend you put this on affected with the ADS field of view. Go with affected. It does help with recoil a slight bit. You're not going to just start aimbotting. That's not what this option does. It just makes it a slight bit better, alright? I have mine at default over here, 90% over here, alright? But these are all your own personal preference. You can copy mine if you want to. From here, we're going to go to interface, go to color customization, and then go to filter 2, put this at both, 100%, 100%. Scroll down to your enemy and then select a personalized color that you like for your enemy to be. Now I have mine at pink, then I have mine over here and about over there. You can just copy this code if you want to, or just copy mine if you want to. It's your own personal preference. This is magenta pink, so when I ping someone or I do a UAV, the whole entire map becomes pink, and the little dots are pink, and they're very easy to spot. So this is why I use this color. I highly recommend using a very in-depth color that pops in the game, all right? And then you're just going to say apply custom color. From here, this is the most important step that you're going to need to do. After applying all of these settings, you're going to need to do this. You're going to go to display and you're going to scroll all the way down and you're going to come here where it says restart shader optimization. Now make sure that you are not in a lobby with someone, because this will be unhighlighted. If you're in a lobby with someone, you need to be alone, okay? So if you're watching this video and you're standing alone or whatever, go ahead and click on restart shader optimization. You're going to click on this, say restart, and then restart your entire game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new here, and as always, peace out.